Alright, what's going on, everybody? So, the time has come. Today, I'm going to give you guys my final thoughts on the Demon Slayer game that just came out, Demon Slayer, the Hinokami Chronicles. I beat the game. I want to say I beat it on either Saturday or Sunday, and I think I've played enough of the game to at least render a judgment as of right now. So, for those that are unaware, Demon Slayer The Hinokami Chronicles is the latest game from CyberConnect 2. These are the guys that did the Naruto Storm series, the Dot Hack series, and most recently, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. These guys have a lot of clout when it comes to the anime gaming community. Everybody loves them pretty much. And they've done I want to say a really great job, a really awesome job, uh, basically capturing the essence of these anime when it comes to like Dragon Ball Z and Naruto in terms of just like recreating uh, basically scenes from the anime and stuff like that when it comes to their story mode. But unfortunately, when it comes to the Hinokami Chronicles, I think one of the weakest aspects of this package is the story campaign. And I know I'm probably going to get a lot of hate for saying some of the things I'm going to say in this review, but it has to be said. That story campaign was lackluster. In comparison to what they've done in the past with the other Storm games, I think that this isn't exactly their best their best effort. Now, so here's the thing. So the story campaign is pretty short. It's like 8 chapters. You'll be able to beat that pretty quickly. It'll probably take you somewhere between maybe 8 to 9 hours, maybe 10 if you're slow. I think I might have beat it somewhere between 10 to 11 because I was taking breaks in between, and I was trying to S rank or at least get better ranks on some of the optional special missions. But yeah, the campaign is pretty short, and what really kills me about this campaign is the fact that a lot of the content, a lot. So here's the thing: a lot of the content in between the boss battles feels like padding. It feels completely unnecessary. The free roaming sections are boring, and the design itself, it feels outdated. Now, I know a lot of people like the whole free roaming thing in terms of what they've done in the past with the Storm series, and it's cool that they can recreate that they've recreated the world of Demon Slayer when it comes to these different environments, and that's cool and all, but the way that it's designed and what you're doing in there, it's not very engaging. It's not fun. I wasn't having fun playing through those, playing through those sections. Like when I say it feels like unnecessary padding, I'm not exaggerating. Like here's one thing that really bothered me about in terms of in terms of how you're navigating these environments. Like why the heck can't I jump and run in a game in 2021 for the longest, even with the other Storm games, starting from Storm 2 when they revamped their free roam story mode thing. I've always had a issue with how you navigate through these worlds. You're walking around slowly. So like you're just walking around slowly through these environments, and you'll interact with different NPCs to complete, these different, optional tasks that you have as you go through the environment. So you're interacting with NPCs, you'll interact with a useless item here or there, and then you'll go around picking up Kimetsu points, but it's not really fun. It's not fun in my opinion. So all that stuff outside of the boss battles, that wasn't fun. Like I said, that was kind of padding. One good thing I can say about the story mode is that some of the cutscenes look really nice, and some music is taken from the show, and it adds to the authenticity of these scenes, and it really makes you feel like you're playing through the anime. However, there is some stiffness in certain cutscenes with the character movements, and when characters are just standing around almost lifeless, and the lip syncing. Man, this has been a problem. Now, to be fair, I want to say this has been a problem not just with CyberConnect 2 anime games. I believe other anime games have had this problem too, but their games is definitely noticeable. They've definitely had this problem in the past, and I'm getting tired of this. Now, I get that it might be hard and it might take a lot of time and resources to get the lip syncing working for both the English dub and the Japanese dub, but they need to take their time and do it. Because there are times where I'm watching a cutscene where a character will still be talking, but then their mouth be shut the whole time. I'm like, what the heck is going on? Like the joy is so distracting, and it takes away from the quality of the cutscenes. Those issues aside, the boss fights aren't very challenging or memorable. The boss fight against the drum demon Kyogai was the best one by far. It was the most dynamic, and I feel like that boss fight has a lot of what the other boss fights lack. When I look back at some of the boss fights from Storm 2 and Storm 3, I really feel like this just doesn't compare to what CC2 has done in the past. One boss fight that comes to mind is the Naruto vs Orochimaru fight in Naruto Storm 2. In one part of the boss fight, you're put into a third-person perspective, and it turns into a shooter where you have to shoot Orochimaru's snakes. There's nothing in the Hinokami Chronicles on the same level as that boss fight or other boss fights from the Storm series. Now, y'all can go ahead and tell me that I have rose-tinted glasses on, but come on, man. Y'all can't compare some of the fights in here to those other past things that CyberConnect 2 has done. Anyway, the story campaign is pretty easy. I'll say that the hardest part of the campaign is probably going to be the mini games, the T-splashing mini game, especially the gourd breaker mini game. That isn't really too hard. You might mess up like the first time around, but that wasn't too hard. But the T-splashing mini game, especially on hard, it might take you a few tries to get that S rank, right? But that was like the hardest thing in that story mode. But overall, that story mode, like I said before, it wasn't very challenging, wasn't very hard. Once you're done with the story mode, there really isn't much else to do. This game also suffers from a lack of content. Outside of story mode, your only options are CPU battles, the training mode, which is essentially a mission mode type thing, but I'll get into why that sucks in a second, and then also, of course, you can go online. So let's talk about training mode for a second. It is completely pointless. They didn't put any effort into this at all. Essentially what training mode is that you'll pick a character to be your instructor, and then what you have to do is essentially each battle has different conditions that you have to complete, and you earn a few Kimetsu points if you can complete it. But it's essentially like all of these different missions, these different training missions, are essentially the same thing. It's a bunch of recycled conditions. Do a bunch of parry attacks and finish with the ultimate, or do an ultimate. That's pretty much what it is, over and over and over again. I'm not exaggerating when I say that CyberConnect 2 put more effort into the mission mode that was in Ultimate Ninja 2 on the PS2 than this mode in this game in 2021. That is freaking sad. To make matters worse, the online is missing a bunch of features. It's missing the tournament mode, endless mode, no lobbies, no spectator mode. However, I will say this, I only played a handful of matches, but I didn't experience, so I experienced some latency, but I didn't experience any disconnections or anything to my opponent, so that's good. Another big issue with this game is the character roster. This roster is pitiful. How the heck do you make a Demon Slayer game without demons? It's literally in the title. Oops, I'm sorry, we do have a demon. Nezuko, okay, one demon. How do you have a Demon Slayer game with only one demon? Now I know they're gonna have demons post-launch, but that should have been there from the beginning. It kind of feels like maybe this game should have been delayed, like they just kind of rushed this out. Also, why the heck is Murata here? Am I the only person that forgot that this character even existed until they announced that he was going to be part of the roster? Who was asking for this guy? The best aspect of the Hinokami Chronicles is by far the improved combat. The Storm series combat was very shallow, and they hid that shallowness beneath a bunch of systems. In terms of its combat, this is essentially Storm 5. They added character-specific skills, push blocking, heavy attacks, which are basically armored attacks, dive attacks for when you're in the air, and proper jump canceling. These are much needed additions that really add more complexity to the game. They even made a few changes, two of which I really like. Parrying seems more precise and satisfying than the counters in Storm, and they got rid of that awful substitution bar system and took a page from My Hero 1's Justice 2 and added assist escapes. I love the new defensive options as they allow for more mind games and strategy when going up against aggressive people online. Like with the Naruto Storm series, this game also has the Awakening mode that you can go into, and I'm still not a fan of the Awakening mode thing. So with this game, the Awakening mode is split into two modes. You have Boost and you have Surge, and essentially what it does is allow you to increase your strength, so your attacks will do a lot more damage. In the past, the Awakening state has functioned as a comeback mechanic, but that's not exactly the case here. Unlike with most of the Storm games, your health does not need to be low to go into this state. You just need to build up the meter at the bottom of the screen. This is accomplished by hitting your opponent or taking damage. I still feel like this feature takes away the skill needed to win a match and could be used to easily come back from a match where you were losing the whole time. I'm glad they finally added a second attack option with the introduction of skills, which allows the player to basically make up their own combos. However, I don't like their solution to stopping infinites and combo breaking. When you start a combo, a timer will start and its duration depends on the starting attack. The duration is represented by the color of the timer, either red, yellow, or green. This means that you must get your combo off before the timer runs out. This feels too restrictive, and I think a more traditional approach to breaking combos and stopping infinites would have been much better. With that said, this is the first time where I felt like I wasn't completely wasting my time by jumping into practice mode. There's still some shallowness here, but there's a lot more depth in this game than there was in the previous Naruto Storm games. The last thing I want to add before I close out is just the fact that you could still cheese the AI and that the ranking system still sucks. I've never felt like these games properly graded you for actually playing well. Overall, Demon Slayer The Hinokami Chronicles is an improvement on the Storm formula that CyberConnect 2 has iterated on for years in terms of its combat. It's a possibly competitively viable version of Storm with a forgettable story mode and sparse content. Definitely not worth $60, wait for a sale. If I had to give this a score, I'd give it a 6 or 7 out of 10, something along those lines. Anyway, if you've played this game, let me know what you guys thought about it in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching this review. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. If not, hit the dislike button. Thank you guys for watching. I'm out of here. Peace.